Welcome to the 34th annual White Church Show Thanksgiving Eve Extravaganza. We are here live, asking the question of the day.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire.
No, you can't.
For a safe and secure society.
So I'm calling on Congress to pass these reforms, and I'm going to sign them into law. You called down the thunder, well, now you got it. You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Alrighty, our call-in line telephone number, if you'd like to be on the program today on the 34th annual Eve of Thanksgiving. How come you get a Christmas Eve, but you don't get a Thanksgiving Eve? You get a New Year's Eve, but you don't get a Thanksgiving Eve. I think we should do something about that. And we have for 34 years. The Thanksgiving Eve at the Extravaganza, number 34, 844-527-8723, 8445 Crusade. Email address, same as it ever hath been. Has not been used in the entire month of November appropriately. And we're running out of time. Can you hear that old Ironside of a printer? My Lord, dude, are you going to take off into orbit? Golly! Maggie, how many pages of clips do we have? That's 5. That's page 6. So we have an encyclopedia of digital media files to get to here today. Crusader Stadium chat room is open at crusadechannel.com/chat. I never realized, because we rarely use that printer because it's a color printer. I never realized how loud that thing is. I think you could go plug that thing in a cemetery and turn it on and print 10 pages and wake up anyone that is peacefully sleeping dead. It's so loud. In any event, it is a big broadcast day here today. We will have our interview with James Fishback, candidate for Florida governor for the governorship of Florida. Interestingly enough, and I don't know what the constitutional requirements are in Florida because I didn't look it up, but James is only 30 years old, making him a very young candidate for governor. Maybe one of the youngest ones I've ever even heard of, much less had a chance to interview him. So we'll do that next hour. That's next hour. That'll be 7:10 Central, 8:10 Eastern Standard Time. So here we are in what is today's day 6? Day 6 of the Sedition 6 coup attempt to, I guess, do something to President Trump, and then because you have patriotic starring members of Congress and former CIA agents coming to the rescue here. The Democrats can ride in on their white horse and save us all from turkey pardoning Orange Man bad. So, by the way, very funny yesterday that Trump can even make pardoning turkeys funny. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy, but I would never pardon those two. And Melania would come and say, honey, dear, I think that would be a nice thing for you to do. And we'll talk about that. The mayor of Chicago has stirred up another, I don't even know why this is controversial. Let me say that before I even get into this. Pretty sure in the Old Testament, there are these things called jails, prisons. So, as far back as man can trace our oral tradition and written history, and by the way, that's all there is. People that say, well, prehistoric man existed 4.2 million years ago with Australopithecus man. If he was man, there would be proof that he existed. I'm not going to get sidetracked. If you go all the way back to the oldest written texts and oral tradition, things that have been passed down by people saying, oh, hey, you know, your Uncle Loomis did this or whatever, you would find when in the course of human events, you would find there would be a history of these things called prisons. Jail, prison, penitentiary, big house. What's another slogan or a slang word for jail? Whatever you want to call it. Slammer. You'd find slammers in ancient China. You'd find slammers outside of the human sacrifice pyramids in Tenochtitlan in Mexico. You would find, this is interesting. You know when they excavated the pedo city of Pompeii? What's one of the things that they found in the pedo city of Pompeii? A prison. They found a jail. They actually found people that were still in their cells when the volcano erupted, and nobody bothered to let them out. So they just kind of got incinerated and burned alive right there and captured in the print of the ash. Why do I bring it up? Why is it a controversy to put people into these things called prisons? Well, it's not controversial. It shouldn't be. Well, then who's making it controversial? Well, the mayor of Chicago seems to think that prisons and law enforcement officers capturing bad guys so they can be put on trial and then sent to prisons, that's the problem with violent wackos wandering about the commuter trains of North America. By the way, the little girl or the, I don't want to say little, she's not a little girl, the young woman who was on the train, the Chicago commuter train, that was set on fire has been identified. It's a young white girl. She has a social media profile eerily similar to Irina Zarustas, the young woman who was murdered on the train in North Carolina, in Charlotte. This new young lady, Maggie, what's her name? You know, I had this story open, and I was reading it. The guy who set her on fire had 72 priors. 72 priors. What's her name? Oh, Bethany McGee. Thank you. Bethany McGee was riding that train, minding her own business. This is a white girl. This is a very dark black man. Why are there no charges? Where is the Reverend Jackson and the usual race hucksters? Why are there no charges of racism here? You know, that's the second instance now in the past three months now. Multiple recidivist black men. What's the other guy's name? DeCarlos Brown, right? DeCarlos Brown, and who had been arrested who had 14 priors. This one has 72. There are judges out there that are just paroling these men, just throwing them back out on the street. And apparently it's okay for young white women to bear the brunt of their violence. Imagine if this was a 24-year-old student who just happened to be from the south side of Chicago and was a black girl. And imagine that the nutcase that set her on fire was Daniel Penny, was a white guy. And was a member of the MAGA Corps. Why, he was in the United States Marine Corps. He went to a Trump rally. We traced his steps. Imagine we'd be at war. This would be the summer of love. The girl who was burned would be canonized. The black girl who was burned would be canonized. There'd be murals painted on the side of buildings in Chicago. But we don't react that way. It's kind of troubling, isn't it? That the so-called right wing or conservatives or whatever you wish to call us these days don't react with the same level of, and I think in this instance, justified outrage. You would be justified in being completely livid over this. 72 times this guy was arrested? I was reading a story, I can't remember how many, dozens of times for violent crimes, and they just let him go. So Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, goes and gives we have the soundbite, is out there somewhere. Why do people keep inviting these lunatics? And he is a lunatic. These lunatics to speak in public. Error does not have rights in public. And yet here is the so-called mayor. You know, you thought that Mayor Beetlejuice was a nutcase? This dude makes Beetlejuice look like Judge Dredd. Sylvester Stallone has, well, hey, Judge Dredd, I got to lock you up. It's what the law says, not me. It's what the law says. Mayor Beetlejuice now looks like a chief law enforcement officer compared to Brandon Johnson. So Brandon Johnson goes on and says that, I'll just paraphrase what he said. He says that it is the penal system and the law enforcement officers and the penal system in the United States that is responsible for the mayhem and the violence. What does he say? We can't incarcerate our way out of this. He said, you can't incarcerate your way out of this. So guess who responds to Brandon Johnson? He goes like, yeah, you can. And he goes like, you most certainly can incarcerate your way out of it. None other than Nayib Bukele, the president of Nigeria, who responded to Brandon Johnson directly on X saying, no, yes, you can literally incarcerate your way out of violence. That's precisely why incarceration exists in the first place. And then Nayib Bukele puts a series of graphs and sends them to Brandon Johnson going like, this is what Nicaragua's murder rate looked like before me and prison camps everywhere. This is what it looks like now. These are the amount of offenders that were out on the streets before me. These are the amount of offenders that are on the streets now after me. This is the murder rate prior to me. This is the murder rate after me. And me building jails and throwing bad guys into them. I don't know why this is, again, why is this controversial? Nothing controversial about this, which is why I brought up the Old Testament. Prisons have existed to keep people who refuse law and order away from the people who embrace law and order. That's why you have prisons. Am I breaking news here? Apparently, this needs to be explained in 2025. You now have an entire establishment. About a third to 40% of the citizenry is running around wishing for the good old days when there weren't prisons and when everybody was just released on their own recognizance and there was no punishment for crimes. I must have missed this paradise that existed because, to my knowledge, there never has been such a paradise. In any event, is this really just the Democrat Party, or is this the end result of the 500-year effort by Beelzebub, Bagul, and the boys to bring about an end to what was called Christendom. The smoldering remains of it that we still have and can be thankful for, or you might say it's the Europe song. It's the final countdown. Da, 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 da. Are we in the midst of the final countdown? Kind of, I don't know. I think there are people that actually want it to be. You know, I closed yesterday's program, and I was getting sick during the course of the program. My voice is getting worse and worse and worse, and I'm just thinking like, oh man, I haven't had the flu in 3 years, and I have been supplementing up and eating right and everything. So towards the end of the program, there was more that I actually wanted to say about the UFOs, the deep state, and the Satanists and Satan. I only did like a half of it. I didn't even get to all of it. But I was trying to, there was no gas left in the tank. This is part of their effort here, by the way. You know, I was, this is another interesting one. Just a thoughts only passing theme. If you go on Twitter and you find Twitter account Theo World, real Theo World. Maggie, is that Theo Vaughn? Is that who that is? I assume. You don't know? Okay. In any event. How many of you knew, okay, how many of you listening right now know what NIL is? In regards to college sports, do you know what NIL is? I had to admit that it caught me by surprise. I didn't know what it was. I actually had to look it up. Maggie, do you know what NIL is? Don't look it up. She's Googling it. You're taking all the fun out of the game. Name, image, likeness. So this is the rule that the NCAA has carved out for NCAA athletes to use their name, their image, and their likeness to sell Gatorade, basically. Or here at LSU in Baton Rouge, to sell Cane's chicken strips and dipping sauce and gallon jugs of sweetened iced tea. NIL. Now, if you're going to have NIL, name, image, and likeness, funding, and you're going to make it illegal in the NCAA, which they did, as I've told you, this is going to, the corruption is there. It's already there. I don't know that there's any way to put that back into the toothpaste, other than I think that what the NCAA ought to have done, and maybe they did this and I just don't know, is you only get to the NIL level if you're in Division I. If you're in Division II or Division III or whatever other division, then you had the old amateur rules and you don't have NIL. Maybe they did that, maybe they didn't, or maybe just let the market take care of it. Who wants to have a sponsor for Cane's chicken strips, who is not at LSU and is instead at a feeder college or whatever. In any event, if you're going to have this, should you have athletes from foreign countries they get full ride scholarships to go to these universities and then get NIL at the expense? I mean, this is the same as the tranny argument of William Thompson beating Riley Gaines. William Thompson, a man, running around calling himself Leah Thompson, as a swimmer and an NCAA championship meet and beating Riley Gaines and denying her and three other women a chance to swim for the U.S. Olympic team and all the other things. This is the same thing. Why are foreign athletes in American college sports cashing in on NIL? This is H-1B workers for college sports now. So in any event, I didn't know this. Apparently, last week, the NCAA had its NCAA cross-country championship races. And if you don't know, I used to run cross-country when I was in high school. Back then, it wasn't meters, it was miles. It was 3.1 miles. I actually ran in 1978, 1979 on a cross-country team. I actually competed against a guy who ultimately made it to the Olympics. His name was Ray McDaniels. He was on the 1980 U.S. Olympic team as a miler. On a smaller course, Ray Daniels would lap us slow guys. Anyway, I'll tell you, Ray McDaniels. I'll tell you all about it when we come back.
Hope to next time.
Thousands of years ago, if you owned a book, you had to haul it home in a wagon, and you'd need your two oldest sons to carry it into the house. Then you'd need one family member who could read.
The Story of Beowulf.
Another to hold the candle.
Hold it steady.
And another to turn the pages.
Not that close, you'll catch it on fire.
The good news for you is that was then and this is now. And now you have the Founders Trading Post store, where ordering, delivery, and reading your favorite books is literally a snap. Here's what's new this month.
The Transhumanist Temptation, How Technology and Ideology Are Reshaping Humanity and How to Resist by Grayson Quay.
This title and many other new releases are available alongside classics and favorites 24/7 at shopmikechurch.com. You can also shop using your app. Download and shop today at shopmikechurch.com/app.
Hello, Crusaders. I'm Janet Huxley at the Crusade Channel News Desk with your Crusade Crucials for Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. This report is brought to you by the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, the best way to listen to the KingDude ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It's literally that easy. In the market report, the Dow was up 1.43% at last close. The S&P as well, 0.91. NASDAQ climbed 0.67%. Today is National Cake Day. You wouldn't think at Thanksgiving time that would be the case. Like, shouldn't it be Pumpkin Pie Day? But no, it's Cake Day today, so enjoy yourself. It's also National Taiwan On Day. Don't get confused. It means those that are working at home, hard preparing for tomorrow's big Thanksgiving Day meal, are probably wearing an apron. It's also National Jukebox Day. The name jukebox is thought to originate from places called juke houses or juke joints. In the early 1900s, people congregated in these establishments to drink and to listen to music. Our quote of the day: we ought to speak, shout out against injustices with confidence and without fear. Blessed Miguel Pro. Now, our saint of the day is Saint Sylvester I. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, a.k.a. Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes, like Jim.
I heard that!
Listening to or watching the KingDude live or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away, and installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap login now or proceed as guest. See? It's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are. Install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app.
Brother Mike Church presents Flashback Sinful Things That Were Happening 20 Years Ago. Jurassic Park, the remake of Godzilla, and the beginning of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Are either of you homosexuals?
You mean like flaming, or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
Let's hope and pray no one will ever confess those sins again. The Mike Church Show, preaching and teaching from his abbey while living here in the present on the Veritas Radio Network's crusade.
You know, there was a time in this country when smart people were considered cool. Well, maybe not cool, but smart people did things like build ships and pyramids, and they even went to the moon. And there was a time in this country, a long time ago, when reading wasn't just for fags, and neither was writing. People wrote books and movies that had stories, so you cared whose ass it was and why it was farting, and I believe that time can come again.
How you doing? Longest running, long-form, continual radio program on air anywhere in the world. It's Mike Church Show here on the 34th annual Thanksgiving Eve Extravaganza here on the Crusade Channel, day number 11 of year number 10. You know, yesterday I dragged out the musical archives, an instrumental version of a Britney Spears song, in order to kind of goose and gig the donation machine. We don't want to have to do it again today here, so crusadechannel.com/donate. So we'll let the Founders Pass membership service be the sponsor of this portion of the program. Big Black Friday sales going on everywhere. I'm going to tell you about one that you can partake of at crusadechannel.com or at shop.mikechurch.com. For the first time ever, I don't know why I didn't do this before, because I think I had actually seen this particular business or this service before. I'm going to make giving Crusade Channel and Founders Trade and Post Store stuff a Thanos snap for you guys. You can now purchase gift cards, just like the plastic one you see at the checkout window or checkout line for Scamazon or iTunes or Home Depot, wherever. Gift cards are all the rage. Well, just give them a gift card. Greaseball, and be done with it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about flavor of coffee they like and or whatever a book selection. If you're giving something from the Founders Trading Post Store, just buy a gift card. So it's available there. It's just not linked up, but it'll be there later on this morning. You'll be able to go to the Founders Trading Post Store and give a Founders Trading Post Store gift card, any amount you want. You decide. $10 is the minimum. You can put in 50. You can put in 100. You can choose to email it to that person. And not only that, you can also choose the date that you want the email to arrive. How cool is that? Now, and the email arrives. It looks like a picture because people like in pictures of a real gift card. And it's got a link on it to redeem it. And there's a redemption code. So if you need the code. But if it's just a gift card, well, then it's going to come with its own code. You can also print it out. It'll give you the option of printing it out. So you can actually print it and not email it to someone and put it in an envelope and stick it in a stocking or whatever, instant gift card. Now, it's not a plastic one. It'll be on a piece of paper, obviously. Then for the Founders Pass membership service, if you go to Crusade, now this is active. The page even looks all Christmas and stuff. If you go to crusadechannel.com/gift, crusadechannel.com/gift, you will see that there are a pair of gift cards there. One is for $30, $20, and one is for $50. The $50 variety, if you give it to someone, is a full-fledged 1-year Founders Pass membership, which currently costs around $180. So that's a savings of $130. You can give you can't give it to yourself, by the way. Well, I'll just give it to that's a gift membership. Will kick it out. It'll tell you that you're already a member and that you can't give it to. Because I know what some of you sneaky people are thinking already. The $20 variety gives the gift of a 3-month gift membership to the Founders Pass service. And again, this is, I would tell you the actual full names of the people that, when we were testing it, that we were laughing and joking amongst ourselves that we were making it such and such, insert name here, proof. That service has been approved. The way it will work is you will go to crusadechannel.com/card. I said gift, it's card. I can make it both, gift and card. crusadechannel.com/card. You'll land on the page. Pick the $20 variety, 3 months, and then fill out the name and the email address of the person you want to give the gift membership to, your info. You could pick a date to have it sent, and then just click buy. You will get a receipt that's pretty much identical to the one that they get, which will show you the card and everything and what the gift card is, code is. When they ultimately get the email, it is literally click a button. It says click me. Click the button, and then a box will pop up and say enter your code. When the email they get in giant black print, you can't miss it. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some of you will miss it. There is the code that you put in. Put that into the box, or your friend puts it into the box, and they hit submit. When they hit submit, a window is going to pop up and ask them to assign themselves a username and a password so they can log back into the Founders Pass. Hit accept, and pretty much you're done. And it costs them
0.0.
But they're now a Founders Pass member, and you can either do the 3 months for $20 or the 1 year for $50. So gift cards are here, and they're cool. And it actually is a cool-looking card. I wish there was a way to actually print them out plastic, but then again, how would I get them to you? So all that is available just in time for Black Friday. Okay, back to the news at the end of the last segment. I just wanted to get that in before we run out of time for the program. The NCAA had its NCAA cross-country championships. They had them, and I'm just making sure I got the right image here. Okay, so they had them, and here are the top 10. Remember, name, image, likeness, NIL is all the rage in college sports now. It's how the athletes are now making money. You would think that this would be something that American kids go, well, what are you going to do when we go to college? How are you going to pay for it? Well, I'm going to have a sports scholarship. Well, that's all fine and dandy. How are you going to feed yourself? Oh, I'm going to do some NIL. So you would think that this would be taken advantage of and that the NCAA would make this for American athletes. Well, you thought wrong. Here are the top 10 finishers in the NCAA. Now remember, these are American schools. Perhaps people just don't care anymore that your favorite college went out and recruited athletes to be on their whatever teams and recruited from around the world and lured those people here with name, image, likeness possibilities. We can't even recruit Americans to run cross country anymore. Here are the top 10 finishers in the NCAA cross country championships. Habitom Samuel, first. Rocky Hansen from Wake Forest, second. Solomon Kipchoge, third. Brian Musau, fourth. Fawad Masoudi, fifth. Dennis Kippentek is sixth. Gary Martin, there's an American name, University of Virginia, is seventh. Collins Kiprotik is eighth. Abdel Lijale is ninth. And then George Kuti is last in 10th. Of Oklahoma State's 4 top finishers, 2 are from Kenya. Now, I'm not talking about people that are here on a visa that are refugees that want to become American citizens. These are Kenyan citizens. Of Oklahoma State's top 4 top finishers, 2 are from Kenya, 1 is from Morocco, and 1 is from Ethiopia. Of the top 10 finishers overall, only 3 are Americans, and over half, 6, are from Africa. Then there's an accompanying story that says colleges pay, this is how this happens. Colleges pay agencies a fee, up to $25,000 for top-end talent, and many athletes are attracted by NIL payments. To be recruited, some East African runners participate in high-stakes time trials, as the Washington Post reported in September. Last year, there was pushback on social media when Scholar Book, Texas Tech, brought in Solomon Kipchoge, a 28-year-old freshman who had already run faster than the American record in the half marathon at the time. So what you basically have now are college coaches that and NCAA Division I schools that now for running sports are recruiting runners, especially for distance running, from Africa. Now some people may say, "Better KingDude, please, we got bigger fish to fry." It's the idea and the thought of the whole thing. Now we don't even have American young men to run in cross-country races? Lay. I mean, I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize it was that bad. So I guess the upshot is that if you're an African, don't learn to code, learn to run. You want to climb out of poverty from Ethiopia or whatever, the NCAA is your ticket. Over and over and over again, it seems that the scales tip in favor of in almost, it doesn't even matter what the endeavor is, what the trade is, what the skill is, what the vocation is. It just seems as though the scales are tipped in favor in favor of someone else and against young American males. And I think it sucks. And I've always had grievances, and I think that the NCAA is a corrupt organization to begin with. This may be the worst, though. I didn't think they could actually outdo this portal nonsense that they created, which, as we have been talking about for 2 years now, Why don't you just make the NCAA Division I football? Just call it what it is. It is AAA ball for the NFL. Just be done with it. Get it over with. Don't make them go to classes unless they want to. If they're there to play football in the minors and try to get to the majors, which is the NFL, so be it. And then college football rivalries and the programs and everything that goes into it are all just then, well, maybe some of them survive. Maybe you have some of them. This is what the influence of greed and of purely material satisfaction gets you in anything. This is why capitalism ultimately will fail, because it does not have a constraining moral component. I think some of the social or communists are actually right that the truly committed capitalists will actually sell the hangman the rope that's going to be used to hang him. Yeah, but look at the profit I made on the way. Look at this. Can't take it with you though, bud. So there is I wasn't even going to talk about this until I saw this. Somebody, I guess it was Ashley, put it on the Twitter, and I looked at it and I went, "Oh, come on, man, dude, you got to be kidding me." Yesterday, President Trump pardoned Gobble and Waddle, the turkeys. It's typical and classic Trump pardoning the birds and then giving them Democrat names, which I don't think is too far actually off of the mark. What else do we have going on here today? Well, of course, James Fishback will be with us next hour. There's still all this talk about traitors. Captain Mark Kelly keeps running around making it as though Donald Trump was stalking him with an elephant gun. I was minding my own business. I was happy in Arizona being a senator. And then this Trump guy comes along and threatens to have me executed. I'm pretty sure that you actually did something to get his attention. No, I didn't. All I did was restate the obvious. Well, apparently it hasn't been obvious for 232 years. You're the first people that thought that it needed to ever be stated. No member of the United States Senate ever repeated it before. No member of the House of Representatives ever thought that it was necessary. Only you 6 traitors. Isn't it funny that they don't like being called traitors? I think that that's actually humorous, considering that these are people that can't find anything that they actually like about these United States these days. So when someone basically calls you and says, like, well, since you hate everything and you think everything has been blown up and everything is destroyed and whatnot, why don't you just go with it? Again, why don't you guys just become really good, seditious, treasonous, traitorous martyrs and go to your eternal reward, if you will, with smiles on your faces instead of complaining all the way. It's not fair. Oh, life's not fair. Then they go on with the usual suspects in their usual media circles, and it's did you see? He said he wants me hanged. Actually, that's not what he said. He actually did not say that. What else do we have here today? I was blousing around. Hang on, let me get to this one here. In the cut Shiite today. Okay, Swalwell. Can you, here. This is what's going to happen should the Democrat Party ever get back in control the House of Representatives. Play digital media file number 1. Now, before you do that, I do have another headline. Hold on, one more. Remember, I was just talking about how so you have to import Africans in to run cross-country races because it's not about the athletes that are from the state of Oklahoma that are going to go to Oklahoma or Oklahoma State and compete in the cross-country races or the marathon or whatever. It's just about winning the title. You know, you just want to bring the title home to Oklahoma. Well, shouldn't Oklahomans bring the title home? That's just I should have made that point clear. Now, in view of that, listen to this. Libs of TikTok had this yesterday. The University of Minnesota has a page on their website titled Whiteness Pandemic. Okay, so apparently now, if you are born white, you have been born as someone who is sick and in need of treatment because you are part of a pandemic. Can you make this stuff up, folks? Which blames whiteness for perpetuating systemic racism in Western culture. They claim that white people have power and privilege and want families to consider not mating whites among whites. This is an actual headline now. Culture and Family Life Lab. Subject, Whiteness Pandemic. Subheading, Whiteness Pandemic Resources for Parents, Educators, and Other Caregivers. What is whiteness? What is the whiteness pandemic? Here's the next question. Well, racism is an epidemic. Of course, there is no racism when the black guy sets the white girl on fire on the train. There's no racism when the black guy takes the knife and stabs Irina Zarutska 6 times, one fatally in the heart. That's not racist. It's only racist when it's Cracker Whitey and he intentionally lives his life as Cracker Whitey and acting all whitey and white and stuff. Racism is an epidemic that can also be considered a pandemic, given its large cross-national proportion and speed. However, there is another pandemic lurking behind and driving the racism pandemic, the whiteness pandemic. Ms. O'Connell, are you able to find this? I got this from, I think I got this from Dreyer's blog, if you're looking for it. Whiteness refers to culture, not biology. The centuries-old culture of whiteness features color blindness, passivity, and white fragility, which are all covert expressions of racism common in the United States. They literally are teaching courses now designed to teach kids, young skulls full of mush, that all of the problems in their life are due to the pigment in their skin. But we're the racists. If I wasn't reading this, I wouldn't believe it. At birth, you see, young children growing up in white families begin to be socialized into the culture of whiteness. You know, it used to just be called like the culture of Christianity or the culture of Western civilization, as we call it. Now it's the culture of whiteness. So what's the antithesis to the culture of whiteness, I wonder? Making the family system one of the most powerful systems involved in systemic racism. So if you're a white guy and a white gal and you get married and you have babies, you are perpetuating the worst, most violent form of racism known to mankind. And the outcome's in the form of a pandemic that needs to be squashed out. How do we halt and reverse the whiteness pandemic, they ask? Well, if you were born or raised in the United States and you have grown up in the whiteness pandemic and you can play a role in halting and reversing this pandemic, especially if you are a white because of the power and privilege you hold, here's what you do.
Weekdays.
Oh, this Boats, Beaches, Bars, and Ballads fan sees what you did there.
Weekdays at 2 Central on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
It's the WWE and the UFC for Live Talk Radio Thursday Night Throwdown, hosted by you. Win a seat at the table, win the throwdown, and then you pick next week's topic.
Now that's real Live Talk Radio exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Radio, the way it should be.
Hey folks, it's Mike Church, producer of the Shakespeare Radio Film Festival, announcing that we're offering the entire festival, including Joseph Pierce's commentaries, for just $19.95. That's a 50% discount. This exclusive download will include over 16 hours of festival content. To reserve your Shakespeare Radio Film Festival download at an incredible 50% off, go to crusadechannel.com/Hamlet.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com. It's the I Love Lee Show, starring Lee, with special guest Jim.
Come on, dude, pick up.
Jim's Bait Shop.
Very boomer funny of you.
Yeah, I thought so too. What's up?
What was the name of the live talk radio thingy? You know, that show with the holy guy you were telling me about?
Talk radio, holy guy. I'm sure I have no idea.
Yeah, the guy's name rhymed with Lurch. He was talking about being holy or something.
Talking about... Oh, you mean Mike Church. He's not trying to be holy.
Yeah, he's also not trying to fake being holy. Anyway, I just came from the Lila Rose 2-for-1 podcast promotion, and I didn't make a dent in one, much less get two, and I need something cool to listen to on the 6-hour drive I have coming up.
Well, the KingDude's got you covered there.
So, you got the deets?
No, but my dad had shingles.
Oh, you're such a boomer! Deets, as in details, as in where and when do I find this guy?
I'm not a boomer, and his podcast is hiding in plain sight at this thing called a website at crusadechannel.com.
Why can't he just have a QR code?
Yeah. Want me to come over there and type that in for you, Zoomer?
The Crusade Channel 4.0, one of life's simple pleasures.
Yeah, like hearing a tree beginning its journey to the paper mill.
Like paper over plastic, some things like the Crusade Channel.
And good old-fashioned live talk radio.
Never go out of style at crusadechannel.com.
Speaking of out of style, Jim, we need to talk about your hair.
What's the matter with my hair?
The 80s hair metal band's called, and they want their style back.
Really?
Back in the 90s, there was this thing called the cigar boom, where everyone was buying and smoking handmade cigars. But here's the thing. The popular cigars then were the best-made cigars, like Fuente, Joya de Monterrey, and Avo. Over the next 10 years, craftsmanship was replaced by gimmick and slick packaging, and that's when I decided to get in the business and launched El Rey Dude Corona cigars. 20 years later, I launched Manchipio Maria cigars with that same principle in mind. Make a great handmade cigar, and that's exactly what we do in 4 sizes. I invite you to try a 4-pack sampler of my Manchipio Maria cigars and taste them for yourself in smooth, natural, or bold Maduro wrappers. And to sweeten the deal, I've discounted them 25% for a limited time. And as always, we include a personal humidifier with every order. To order, go to shop.mikechurch.com. Order $50 or more, and shipping is on me. Try my Manchipio Maria cigars today at shop.mikechurch.com.
You may not believe it, but Bram Stoker's Dracula may be a work of non-fiction.
What? That's scarier than getting stuck in an elevator with Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, good grief. Really? Come on, I'm trying to be serious here. Okay.
Hear it and other amazing tales on Turley's Believe It or Else, 10 to 11 a.m. Central, every Tuesday on the Crusade Channel. Our app and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Everybody loves a good trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and now the KingDude Seasoning Trilogy. There's Beast and Butt Rub, Acadiana Steak, and the brand new Chicken Mamu Seasoning, a lemon herb-based rub that's won trophies in barbecue chicken cook-offs. Now, we've bundled all 3 spices together, and you can get them for one low price for less than it costs to rent a movie trilogy. And the KingDude offers you his personal money-back guaranteed of your taste buds' complete satisfaction. Order a KingDude Seasoning Trilogy today at shop.mikechurch.com.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, a.k.a. Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes, like Jim.
I heard that!
Listening to or watching the KingDude live or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away, and installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap login now or proceed as guest. See? It's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are, install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app.
In a world more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop, isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel news is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans?
Hey, what are you doing in here?
Oh no. Get your hands off of me. You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up. Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content, but we hope to next time.
The Mike Church Show. Serving the hard liquor of truth to men who want to get drunk fast. Since 1992.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. Let's do it. You gotta beat the clock. You gotta beat the clock.
Well, it's kind of like a Friday, so you got to play Friday bumper music selections here on the 34th annual Thanksgiving Eve Extravaganza.
Sugar. Honey, honey. You are my candy girl.
the morning mashup. That's Eddie and the Breitbart Breakfast Flakes.
Sugar, sugar. You are my king.
This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at mypillow.com/KingDude. Up to 80% off at mypillow.com/KingDude. For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com/KingDude. They're having a Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale at mypillow.com/KingDude to rival all Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. We're having one too. I'll tell you all about that next segment. But if you don't have My Pillows, this is a great opportunity to stock up and get them at an unbelievable price. And get your shipping free if you order over $75 or more. There's all sorts of specials and stuff that they have. So check them out. You can go today, but I believe that the big sales, no, you know what? I think they turned them on already. mypillow.com/KingDude. For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com/KingDude. I was going to play that Swalwell clip, and I'm waiting for James Fishbeck, a candidate for the gubernatorial race in Florida. You know, I was thinking about this. We call elections to win political offices races. It's like we have to make everything out to be some sort of sport. Like it can't just be about politics. Can't just be about an election. Instead, it has to be a race. So, we'll, and I'm just thinking out loud here about the race. Does that mean that there are odds? Do you get to make the what's the morning line odds? You can bet on everything else. Why not betting on politics? Good morning, James. Let me add James to our screen here. There we go. James Fishback is a candidate for governor in the great state of Florida. And we're going to talk to James about his candidacy. James, is your microphone working? Okay, hang on a second here. I might have some operator error going on. It happens. Okay, just a second here. Where are we at here? StreamYard. I know where the error is. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Mike. Can you hear me?
Yes. It's a day before Thanksgiving. I'm a little excited, I guess. And I forgot to click the X button and I clicked the O. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
I have a lot of questions for you, as you can imagine. First of all, should I don't know if I should say congratulations or condolences. Because the onslaught of criticism is already starting to come your way. And I guess that's good because they know that you're in the race now.
Well, that's right. And I'm in this race, Mike, because I want to make Florida more affordable for families like my own, families like the ones that I grew up around, that I work with every single day with my free high school debate league, Incubate Debate. I'm a fourth generation Floridian. And so when I see someone like Ron DeSantis, who has delivered for our state in every possible way, who's sadly term limited, that's perhaps the only thing I disagree with the governor on in substance, is that he wants term limits and I want him to be able to serve as long as possible. Look, if he could run again, I wouldn't even be in this race, to be frank. I'm in this race because someone has to preserve Governor DeSantis's wins in keeping our state free from DEI, transgenderism, Soros-backed prosecutors, voter fraud, child predators, the like. But someone also has to come into this race, into the state, and deliver affordability, make it easier to get a great paying job, buy a home, raise a family. and retire with dignity. That's why I'm running for Florida governor as a Republican.
Okay, so I thought I would go through just a little bit of your bio. You just gave me a good shot of it just now. Fourth generation Floridian. I thought this was interesting. You grew up in Davie, Florida. Well, guess what? 1997 to 2000, I worked at 610 WIOD. So I was living in Coral Springs, Florida, right down the road from you. But WIOD, we had a joke if we had a caller who we thought was a little country or whatever, we go, well, got another caller from Davie. Because Davie, believe it or not, South Florida is kind of like a very small town kind of vibe. I've been to Davie several times, and it's a cool little place in Southern California. You mentioned your debate club. I assume that the debate club is still going on?
It is, yeah. It's a high school debate league. It's actually the largest one in the country that is completely no cost. So I started this in 2019 at the University of Miami with 16 kids. We gave them a free summer debate camp where we showed them a lot, to tell you the truth, a lot of Charlie Kirk videos. I walked through Charlie's particular method of being Socratic, of thinking and on their feet, and really, Mike, trying to get to the heart of what debate is about. Debate, to tell you the truth, it's not about owning the libs. It's not about proving a point. It is about using the Socratic process to get closer to the truth. Now, we know what that truth is as Christians, the truth that there are only men and women, the truth that a man should not be coming into the women's restroom. Those things are good to be settled through an open debate, and that's what we're seeing with our debate league. I mean, we've got thousands of kids. We just had a tournament at Jacksonville University. We had kids from Pensacola to Miami, all everywhere in between, and I'm proud to lead Incubate Debate. The kids were actually on Fox News a couple weeks ago showing off their debate skills as well. And so building on that, and of course, my full-time background as an investor, channeling upwards of $40 million into companies that are actually doing something radical these days, which is not using DEI, but hiring on a little thing called meritocracy, not based on skill, color, not based on your sex, but based on the work that you can get done in an honest day. And that's what I'm proud to be working on.
And interesting as well, your dad, you wrote at some point in the last 10 years that your father, he actually had some trouble in his vocation, and you said it was because one of the reasons that you're opposed now to H-1B visas, as am I, and as I told you on Twitter that one time, you can't make America great again without Americans. But there's some history in your past, or something that happened in your father's occupation, where they imported a bunch of foreign workers and basically put him out of a job. Am I right?
That's exactly right, Mike. My dad cut trees for 20 years in South Florida, and then he would chase hurricanes during hurricane season, going as far northwest as Pensacola, Niceville, Crestview. When storms would hit there, he would help folks clean up after the storm and cut trees and throw stuff in a chipper and help people get back on their feet. And then this earthquake devastated Haiti in 2010. And Barack Obama had the bright idea of bringing in tens of thousands of Haitians to give them temporary protected status to come to Florida to work. Gave them work authorization, gave them food stamps, gave them Obama phone, gave them all of that. And then what happens is when you bring in 20, 30, 40,000 Haitians, they can't exactly come here and become SAT tutors. So they steal blue collar jobs like my dad's business. And so my dad's business went under shortly after the Haitian earthquake, because all of a sudden there were 20, 30,000 people who you hand them a machete, you hand them a chainsaw, and they could start dragging stuff and throwing it into chippers. And this is really about the perils of cheap labor coming into America, not just for the blue collar workers. We see that, but also with white collar workers as well. IT, accountants, pharmacy. You've got someone like my opponent, Byron Donalds, who a couple years ago said that he wanted to help an H-1B worker from India become a pharmacist in his own congressional district. I'm sorry, but that is completely disqualifying. You have to fight for Americans in our state. American jobs are for Americans. And I look at the college generation, the high school generation now, they're staring down the toughest job market in a century.
Yep.
And the simple reason is because companies don't have to hire Americans anymore. They don't have to hire Americans who in their mind will ask for things like paid time off, and they want something called a market wage. No, they'll just import cheap slave labor from India, China, Pakistan to do this work at a fraction of the cost, and they can overwork them, underpay them, and everybody's okay with that. And so I'm here in this race, not because I'm trying to push Republican or Democrat talking points. I'm in this race to stand up for American workers. And it's not just about workers, Mike. It is about your kids and your grandkids. If they can't get jobs, they can't get a family. If they can't get a family, they can't have kids. If they can't have kids, then honestly, what's the point?
Well, on the phone now, on the StreamYard Maker Hotline here with James Fishback, candidate for governor in the great state of Florida. By the way, we love Florida. My third daughter lives in Florida. I spend a little time in Tampa every year. They used to call Tampa Cigar City, and I now call it Micro Brew City because you can't swing a dead cat by the tail, not hit a microbrew in Tampa. So you got you have this dynamic of these large cities in Tampa. I mean, in Florida. You have Miami, which you just mentioned. You have Tampa. You have Tallahassee. You have Jacksonville. You have the Panhandle. You have Orlando. You have Fort Lauderdale. This is a big state. Now, one of the knocks against you, James, and I just got to play Diabolo Advocata for a moment. One of the knocks against you is, what has Fishback ever run? This is a big state. You're going to take a lot of experience to do it. How would you answer? And then, of course, they hit you for your age. I'm kind of like inspired that a 30-year-old wants to be a governor. Now, granted, aged, I'm a little older than you. Aged, you do get a little wiser as you get older. But what do you say to people that say this is a big state, requires a big guy, and Fishback is just too young and not enough experience?
Well, I would never ask Floridians to blindly trust me.
Okay.
I'm asking for the opportunity to earn their trust. And that's why, unlike my opponent, Byron Donalds, in the coming months, I'm going to visit every one of our 67 counties, Holmes, Madison, Jefferson, Duval, Putnam, every single county I will visit in the coming months. And I'll make my case directly to voters. And then after my 5 to 10 minutes of prepared remarks, I'll take questions for 2 or 3 hours. I'm here to answer every question. I'm not a big believer in I'm going to tell you I'm a good leader or I'm smart. I'm going to show you that I believe I can lead this state by taking tough questions and talking about the issues that folks here care about. And so at the end of the day, let's work through a vision for Florida, a vision, Mike, that very simply says there are 1.4 million illegal immigrants in our state. And I'm going to work with President Trump to get every single one of them out here, because your first act of coming to America cannot be breaking our laws. There's this idea, this concession in the Republican Party these days, that we should give them amnesty. That's what Brooke Rollins, that's what Maria Salazar, Congresswoman from Florida, advocates for, is they're just here to work and we should give them amnesty and let them pay just a $7,000 fine. Well, illegal immigrants cost our economy about $67,000 a year. I'm not going to let them get off the hook for $7,000. My advice is very, very simple. Take the free flight and the $1,000 check that Kristi Noem is offering you right now and go back to your country of origin. Or when I get in there, it is going to be the most brutal, most aggressive mass deportation policy, because I am not playing games with illegal aliens. You are in our state. You broke our laws. You need to go. And we will use the full police force of our government to remove you and to send you back to wherever the heck you came from.
James Fishback is running for governor in Florida, and he's on our StreamYard Maker Hotline here with us. Let's talk about that for just a moment. As I just mentioned, you can't make America great again without Americans. James, Governor DeSantis has been very clear about that. You agree with him. I agree with you. We both agree with DeSantis. We all three pretty much agree. You have to stop the importation of foreign labor. You have to stop it. Now, President Trump is making the case that, well, you don't know, some of these jobs, they have to go to experienced people. You don't know what you're talking about. Is there any way is there a carve out there in Fishback world, or as James Fishback as governor, is there a carve out there that maybe there are some exceptions? Does Trump have a point on any of this, do you think?
Well, actually, I think the president's instinct is right. That's why 2 months ago, he announced a $100,000 a year fine, a fee that companies would have to pay. If they're actually hiring the best and brightest from India and China, then pay up for it. The problem is they're not. It's a complete lie. The lie is they're going to hire a $40,000 accountant from Calcutta as opposed to a $60,000 a year accountant from Crestview, Florida. And they want us to believe that it's because there's a skills gap, because we're all somehow lazy, stupid, and not smart enough for them. That is wrong. And so actually, it's Byron Donalds who's out of step with President Trump's own vision, which is $100,000 a year is what we need to be charging companies. Now, the federal government is going to do what the federal government's going to do. But at the state level, I'm not going to make excuses if there's a Democrat who wins in 2028. I've got to lead for my state. I'm a big believer in states' rights. And so if there are companies in Florida that rely on state contracts, as thousands of them do, for everything from serving up hot meals to cutting grass to doing IT work, I'm going to sit them all down in my first week in office, and I'm going to say, as President Reagan did, now is a time for choosing. Do you want your $50 million a year contract, or do you want your 50 H-1Bs from India? You choose. You've got 24 hours, no negotiating, and that is that. And what they'll, of course, do is they'll take their contracts because they want to continue to work with my government, and they'll then let go of the H-1Bs, and they'll hire back great qualified Americans for those roles. And so it's actually Byron Donalds' position who's out of step with that of our great president, which has said no. The H-1B program is a scam. He said that years ago, and he backed that up with real substance with this $100,000 a year H-1B fee that directly disincentivizes companies from importing cheap labor when we've got some of the best and brightest right here at home.
You know, James, way back in the day, and I'm a little older than you, but I can still remember Apple Computer used to make their computer processors, the 68020, 68030, and 68040 processors in a Motorola factory in Florida. Motorola had a chip factory in Florida. What does James Fishback do? I know President Trump is already talking about bringing the chip industry back to the United States. What about Florida?
We're going to do it. We're absolutely going to do it. And the reason why, I mean, I grew up, as I said, in Davie, which is 595 and 136, if you want to be really specific, out by the Sawgrass Mall.
Yep.
My grandmother lived in West Plantation, and there was the Motorola headquarters on the corner of Sunrise Boulevard and University Drive. And so this idea that we can't make stuff here, right now, we sell $19 billion of aerospace equipment to Brazil every single year. That's why I've said, if Floridians elected me as their next governor, I would visit Brazil as my first country. I would go there and ink a trade deal that would create thousands of great paying jobs for men and women in my state who are right out of high school. We can make Florida the citrus capital again. We can make it the cattle capital again. We can make it the manufacturing capital again. My opponent, with all due respect, Byron Donalds, wants to make Florida the financial capital, financialization, the money changers. I'm not into that. Neither are Floridians. And for a very simple fact, that a lot of these big falutin hedge fund finance jobs, I know I worked in one, they required master's degrees. And I'm not really sure why, because all they're doing is moving numbers across a screen. But what Floridians want, what Floridians actually want, is they want jobs that can go to people right out of high school. Here's my vision for Florida. You go to high school, you get good grades, you will be able to get a great paying job right out of high school. That's a very, very bold vision for our state. That's what I want to deliver. I got to tell you the truth. I think college is overrated for most people. I went there. I think it was great. It was a great experience. But I want to create an economy where high school alone gives you the training, gives you the academic, vocational, and career training to walk out of high school and make $50,000 to $60,000 a year. That is the vision for Florida that our campaign is based on.
I think we need 49 more candidates like you. Okay, final question, because you got to go, and I'm going to be up against the break, and I don't want to monopolize your time. And by the way, thank you for being here on the Mike Church Show. It means a lot to us, and I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised by this interview and by your answers. Okay, final question. I saw a talk that you gave. As a matter of fact, before you and I were even following each other on Twitter with you have to have Americans to make America great again, I saw a talk of yours, and I was very moved by it, and I played the audio. You were talking to some young TPUSA type people, and you were talking about, look, you guys are hoes. Your generation has no shot. You're not going to own a home. You're going to be in debt. All the problems and you know, the affordability crisis, which I don't call it that, but there really is. I know I'm a homeowner. So are you. Am I going to take a $120,000 bath on my home should I choose to sell it? Because that's what's going to drop the price back to pre-Biden inflation numbers. How do we get out of this? And I don't know that you say you're for states' rights. Completely agree. The 10th Amendment is king. How do we get out of this and make those to get back to where young people can get married out of high school, can get that job you just talked about, and they can afford that home?
Well, the number one thing that changed from when my parents were raising me and my sister, who's now a proud English teacher at a public school, the number one thing that changed is mass immigration. Mike, our country was invaded on Kamala Harris's watch. Right now, in my state of Florida, there are 1.4 million illegals. And I got to tell you the truth, they're not living under a bridge and they're not living on the beach.
Right.
They are living in homes. As Florida's next governor, I'm going to build on what Governor DeSantis and President Trump have done best, and that is mass deportations. We are going to get every single one of them out of our state. And as a result, Mike, we're going to free up upwards of 250,000 homes. There's going to be a short-term transition there, but we're going to free up these homes so the next generation of families can not just buy a home for the sake of owning the dirt under their feet, but they can buy a home so they can marry a God-fearing woman, raise God-fearing children, and when it's all said and done, retire with dignity. The vision for Florida, if you elect me for governor, not just for 4 years, but I hope for 8, I want my legacy to be measured by one statistic. What percentage of 30-year-old men are able to get married and buy a home? What percentage of 30-year-old men are married and own their home? When my dad was growing up in the 1960s, that was 50%. Half of 30-year-old men were married and owned their home. Today, it's less than 15%. And there's many causes to that. I don't want to be naive about that. But the number one cause is our country has been flooded with foreign workers and foreign free riders. My job as governor is to assert the full power of the 10th Amendment, to work with President Trump, to get out every single illegal alien who broke the law, and literally every single one of them did by breaking into our country, to get them out, which is going to free up resources at our schools, our hospitals, and will free up hundreds of thousands of homes. The last thing I'll say on this, Mike, is property taxes. Property taxes are going to be abolished because in America, you don't rent your home from the government. You own it free and clear. Could you imagine if I told Ben Franklin or Thomas Jefferson or Andrew Jackson, our great, great ancestors, that, you work hard, you go out and fight, you do everything right, and then you buy your home, you finally move on from renting, and then you still pay rent every year to the government. The problem with property taxes is that they are inseparable from illegal immigration. Here's why. Those 1.4 million illegals in Florida, they're not paying property taxes. But guess what? They're using all the public resources that property taxes fund. They go to our schools, which property taxes fund. They use our roads, with property taxes fund. They use our infrastructure, hospitals, public service. They call EMS. They call our fire, all of that. They use those resources, but do not pay in to the system for those resources. It's a classic economics 101 free rider problem. You know what I'm going to do for the free riders? I'm going to give them a free flight home. I'm going to send them home with dignity. I'm going to send them home because I respect not necessarily their right to come here and to steal from us, but I respect the right of Americans to exist in their own country. Everything is going to run through the mass immigration because I got to tell you, if you ask people what has changed in 30 or 40 years, why is life harder today? Yes, a lot of the blame goes to the Federal Reserve. Yes, a lot of the blame goes to the big banks and Wall Street. But if there's one thing, Mike, if there's one thing that has changed between 30, 40 years ago and today, it is the fact that we've got millions of people in our country who have absolutely no right to be here. And we, as a government, and I got to tell you, Byron Donalds is complicit in this. He's been in Congress for 5 years now. He's voted for every single spending bill that has spent more of our money that we don't have on things that we don't need for people who should not even be in our country. Byron Donalds, a couple years ago, said that mass deportations would not work, and he wanted to create a path for them to stay here legally. I'm sorry. Your first act of entering America cannot be to break our sacred laws. As Florida's next governor, I'm sending every single one of them home so you, your kids, and your grandkids can have a shot at the American dream again.
What a great message. James, people want to know, where can they find James Fishback for governor on the web so they can follow you? Obviously, you're going to, you'll have to do the fundraising part that I hate about what I do, but it comes with the territory. So where can we find you?
Well, my Christmas in 1999, my parents got me a big gift of the AOL dial-up disc, if you remember that.
I do.
So it was wrapped up. And so I remember vividly getting on the internet for the first time. But if you're on the internet, go to fishback2026.com. I don't ask for any donations. What I want from your listeners, if they are moved by our vision for Florida, a vision that believes that America is for Americans and no one else, tell people about us. If you know someone in Florida, I know your daughter lives outside of Tampa, Mike. If you know someone in Florida, if you yourself live in Florida, send our vision. Go to fishback2026.com. Send that over to 2 or 3 people, friends, family that live in Florida, so we can continue to spread our vision. We're going to win this race if we show up. And like I said, Mike, In the coming months, I'm going to every single one of our 67 counties. None is too big or too small for me to go and to meet with voters. I'll never ask the people of Florida to blindly trust me like Byron Donalds has. I'm going to ask to earn their trust, and I'm going to take a whole lot of questions in the process.
James Fishback, candidate for governor of the great state of Florida. James, a pleasure to meet you. I'm impressed, very impressed. Godspeed on the candidacy. Hopefully we'll talk again real soon. And happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thank you. Folks, that was James Fishback there here on the Mike Church Show. Yes, I am well aware we got clocked. It's okay. We'll be right back.
Dude, those are airmail stamps from the movie Airplane. Surely you have...
Of course I do. And don't call me Shirley. The Crusade Radio Guild is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, so your donations are tax deductible. Donate today, the Crusade Radio Guild, P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana 70447.
Thousands of years ago, if you owned a book, you had to haul it home in a wagon, and you'd need your two oldest sons to carry it into the house. Then you'd need one family member who could read.
The story of Beowulf.
Another to hold the candle.
Hold it steady.
And another to turn the pages.
Not that close, you'll catch it on fire.
The good news for you is that was then and this is now. And now you have the Founders Trading Post store, where ordering, delivery, and reading your favorite books is literally a snap. Here's what's new this month.
Bear Wozniak's 12 Rules for Manliness. Where have all the cowboys gone?
This title and many other new releases are available alongside classics and favorites 24/7 at shopmikechurch.com. You can also shop using your app. Download and shop today at shopmikechurch.com/app.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, aka Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes like Jim.
I heard that!
Listening to or watching the KingDude live or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away, and installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap Login Now or proceed as guest. See? It's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are, install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app.
In the era of the Biden regime, the Mike Church Show lives by the creed, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And if that doesn't work, move to Grenada.
Hey guys, you got a minute?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
It's about my dad. He wants to have a sex change operation.
Whoa, I knew he was gay. I didn't think he was that gay.
No, Peter, he's not gay. He's a woman stuck in a man's body.
Yeah, gay.
It's totally different.
Sounds the same.
Well, it's not.
Okay, so he wants to be a woman so he can be a lesbian?
No, he'd date men.
Gay.
Yeah, gay.
Okay, this is not the help I came over here for.
Well, look, let's just all agree that he's odd, huh?
He has an appointment Friday with Dr. Hartman to have the procedure, and he wants me to go with him. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well, I'm sure your friend Peter would be happy to come along for moral support.
All right, but look, here's the deal. Anything he lops off, we get to bring home for Brian.
That's very green of you, Peter.
Please tell us why you had to hide away for so long, so long. Where did we go wrong? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
How you doing? What a great change of pace interview with James Fishback, candidate for governor of the great state of Florida. I believe he did one interview yesterday, a short one, but this was his first long-form interview, and I'm going to publish it everywhere that we can. We'll get the sound mixed and mastered. Quite the impressive candidate. I heard a lot of conservative bona fides in there. He was an opponent of property tax. He's going to visit every county in the state. These are all things Deborah Medina did in Texas. As you will recall, Deborah Medina was within margin of error of taking out Rick Perry in 2010. You know, actually, it was closer to 2000. No, I think it was 2010. And Deborah, there was a debate. She was an unknown candidate. She got on the stage, and it was the debate that threw her over the top. It was when people got to see Deborah Medina, like telling Rick Perry, like, you pretty boy, you don't know what you're doing. You know what the hell you're talking about. Let me tell you how things run in this state. And when Deborah then called for an end to property taxes in Texas, she became a mark. She put a giant target on her back. And they shot her. They sent Glenn Beck in there. He took her out. He called her a 9/11 truther, said that she was a wacko, and gave her no chance to respond. I was on the Sirius XM Patriot channel at the time. I called Deborah, and I said, what in the world? What did you do? And she goes, I think that I'm getting too close to it, Mike. And I said, well, look, can you come on tomorrow morning? She goes, I'm traveling. I got to go. I got a campaign event. I said, just call me from the road. Just call me on the cell phone from the road. She goes, okay, I can do that. I think we have that tape. I put Deborah Medina on. She was while she's talking to me, she stops at a gas station. She goes, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to run out of gas. I have to stop. I said, just you're fine. And while she's pumping gas, she's talking to me, and I'm asking her, I'm like, did you say what Beck says that you said? And she goes, of course I said it. I said, okay. In what context did you say it? And she goes, we always question things our federal government does. All of it. That's all I meant by it. Was, okay, has there actually been a real thorough investigation into 9/11 and the actual real root causes of it and what have you here? And we should call into mind the response from the government afterwards. That's basically what she said. Which is not what Beck told his millions that she said. And that was it. She went from 25% in the polls back down to 10 within a week. And it was over. Fishback has put a target on his back. No pun intended. And if he, and I believe that he will visit all of those counties in Florida. Remember, Dwayne Stovall did that when he ran for the Senate in 2010, 2012. And I think that answering questions is smart. I think the town hall format is smart. I think that in this day and age, certainly Charlie made it very popular. And if you can't handle some cranks asking you questions, well, you probably shouldn't be in a position of leadership. I think that James answered the question very well when I asked him about affordability. When I asked him about H-1B visas, which are not going to happen in Florida. We're going to kick the 1.8 million illegal aliens out. You know, he's right about that. Imagine, okay. Did you imagine this for a moment? Let's just say that, and I'll use the number that he used, 1.8 million. Let's just say that a quarter of them, so that's approximately 450,000. Let's just say that a quarter of them are currently either renting or through some Hades forsaken program are buying, have mortgages on homes in Florida. Well, let's just say that you were able to get rid of all of them, just for argument's sake. And you took that 1.8 million down, you cut it down to
0.0.
And then with that, then you would have 450,000 properties that would go onto the market. This would increase the supply dramatically. Everyone follow? If you increase the supply dramatically, what is going to happen to the price? Class. What's going to happen to the price? Well, if it actually is a market, well, then the price is going to go down. And as the price goes down, because there's competition now, and it depends on how desperate someone is to get rid of the home that they sold to a foreigner that has now had to vacate it because they got kicked out. You increase the supply, you will drive the price down. So that's one way to do it. Now, I don't know that you can drive it down to pre-Biden inflation numbers. The only way that's going to happen is for the money supply to continue shrinking. And for that, you got to stop debt and deficit spending completely. Now, if you do that, then all these things are possible. I just thought, I asked James Fishbeck. I didn't give him any gotcha questions because I don't do that. But I gave him questions that I thought were hopefully helpful to you people in Florida. I would encourage you to find a Fishback event when it comes to your county and go to it. Instead of asking questions of me, instead of running around blaming me for all the problems of Florida, go to a James Fishback for Governor. And by the way, you're going to go to Fishback 2026. Fishback2026.com for governor. When he comes to your county, if you're a Floridian, go watch him. Go ask him questions. Go shake his hand. Go meet him. He said he was a big states' right guy. I mentioned the 10th Amendment. He nodded his head. He talked about how the federales don't have the authority and the right, and that President Trump is on the right track of doing certain things. Look, I'm not going to proclaim the guy the next coming. He knew about Reagan's policies. Guy's smart. First of all, James Fishback is whip smart. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I don't think that he's going to be this, where he's just some financial snotty-nosed whiz kid, and that's this problem and that problem. Anyway, we'll get rid of him. I don't think that you're going to be able to dismiss him. He's pretty sharp. And if you got that that impression that he's pretty sharp, then I'd actually be interesting to see, and I don't know when this would begin, but if there are debates for the Republican nomination, and I think there were 4 other people that are already in, it says it in the race. There are 5 candidates that are announced thus far, I think. The Madison resident, he's talking about the story at the Tallahassee.com. The Madison resident joins the primary race against Donalds, who has been endorsed by Trump. Former House Speaker Paul Renner, don't know him. 6 other Republicans, but DeSantis has not tipped his hand yet. There is also a rumor that Casey DeSantis may run for her husband's seat. Her husband, well, it's not his seat, may also run. But there's Donalds, Fishback, and 6 other guys in the Republican primary. I hope I did a good job for you guys in Florida, and that you got to know James just a little bit better. And then again, if he comes to a county that you live in, my advice again is to go watch him. Let me go ask him questions. This could be a very exciting governor's race, I think. Very exciting. So, all right, we got lots to do here and a little time to do it. Let's do some digital media files. Let's go to Trump thanking God for his blessings. Digital media file number 1.
In less than 1 year, we've accomplished more than most other administrations have accomplished in 8 years, and this is a very special Thanksgiving. We thank God for his many blessings and the great success that this country has seen in the short period of time. We draw strength from the love of family and friends, and we express our undying gratitude for the men and the women of the United States Armed Forces. We love them. We pray that peace and prosperity will continue to bless our land, and together we'll really just keep this great drive going to make America great again. MAGA, I think it's the greatest expression in the history of politics. Make America great again. In less than 1
You know, Trump says that, and he gets a lot of grief for that. Well, when was it grief? When was it that? He hadn't bailed. A lot of you people have bailed and said that he's bailed. It doesn't sound like he's bailed to me. Pardon the turkeys. Here you go. While we're doing the Thanksgiving extravaganza eve here, number 2. This is the pardoning of the... You got a pardon? Here is your pardon of Waddle and what do you call them? Gobble and Waddle.
Before going any further, I want to make an important announcement because you remember last year, after a thorough and very rigorous investigation by Pam Bondi and all of the people at Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the White House counsel's office, and the Department of Everything. We have a Department of Everything. You know what that is? I think that's called the White House.
The Department of Everything.
Terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden.
Sleepy
He used
Joe.
an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid. As are the pardons of about every other person that was pardoned other than, where's Hunter? No, Hunter's was good. That was the one pardon, Pam, that was good, right? The rest of them are all invalid. I don't know what the hell you're going to do about that, but that's, now we're going to take a little of the joking. That is a mess. But they're hereby null and void. The turkeys known as Peach and Blossom last year have been located, and they were on their way to be processed. In other words, to be killed. But I have stopped that journey, and I am officially pardoning them. And they will not be served for Thanksgiving dinner. We saved them in the nick of time. This one has plenty of time, but they were saved in the nick of time.
They're on their way to the slaughterhouse, and I saved them in just the nick of time. You know, there's some things that are just silly. Pardoning turkeys is just silly. So what? Why not have a little silliness? And then there is the gag joke about... He was also going to name the turkeys 2 names, but he decided against it. Number 3.
Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw the pictures, I thought we should send them, well, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those 2 people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what Melania told me. Darling, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I won't do it, darling. These are 2 of the largest turkeys ever presented to an American president, over 50 pounds each. It's the largest we've ever had. And those are big turkeys. Are they as good as the normal-sized turkey? Better or as good? Do they tend to be a little fatty, maybe? No, he said no. He knows the turkey business. Anyway, despite their size, Secretary Kennedy has formally certified that these are the first ever Maha turkeys. I don't know if I agree with that. These are Maha. In other words, they could be fat, but they're still Maha. They've been fattened on a steady diet of grass, beef, to allow the smoothies and all of the other things that they've been eating for this occasion. This was a really big occasion. But they've eaten every fattening food that you can eat. We wanted to really make them special, and they really are. They're like record-setting. I've never seen a turkey that big before. Are they
I don't think turkeys eat beef. I don't think turkeys eat the stuff that he just said. Isn't a turkey like a chicken? Pretty much whatever scraps you have from the kitchen, like tomatoes and stuff, or whatever the trimmings from tomatoes and stuff. Isn't that what you feed a turkey? I mean, they eat like mealworms and stuff. But pretty much, like I said, whatever a chicken eats. I wanted to play the Pritzker line, but you're not going to have time. You're going to run out of time. So we'll do it at the top of next hour when we come back here on our Thanksgiving Day Extravaganza. Remember, I announced earlier today you can give gift memberships away now, just like you used to be able to. $50 for an entire year. That's $130 savings. $20 for a 3-month trial. That is a $25 savings. CrusadeChannel.com/card.
This report brought to you by the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, the best way to listen to the KingDude ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Here's what to listen for this hour. Trump says he'll meet Putin and Zelensky only when peace deal is final. Boeing wins more than $7 billion in Pentagon contracts. Trump jokes that Biden Turkey pardon in 2024 is invalid due to AutoPen. And massive bar raid in Arizona ends with 249 arrests. President Donald Trump has stated he will not meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin or Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky until the emerging Russia-Ukraine peace agreement is either complete or in its final stage. In a lengthy post shared on Truth Social on Tuesday, Trump emphasized tremendous progress had been made over the past week, calling it the most significant movement toward peace since Ukraine war began. He wrote, "Over the past week, my team has made tremendous progress with respect to ending the war between Russia and Ukraine, a war that would never have started if I were president. Last month, 25,000 soldiers died. The original 28-point peace plan, drafted by the United States, has been fine-tuned with additional input from both sides, and there are only a few remaining points of disagreement." Boeing has been awarded 2 contracts worth more than $7 billion to bolster the U.S. military, the Pentagon announced yesterday. The aerospace giant received an almost $4.7 billion Army contract for new Apache AH-64E attack helicopters, Longbow crew trainers, and related equipment. The Pentagon also revealed an additional $2.4 billion in Air Force contracts was awarded for other licenses. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump pardoned a pair of turkeys at the White House on Tuesday, going on to joke that former President Joe Biden's turkey pardons last year were null and void because he used an auto pen. Trump made the joke while carrying out the decades-long White House Thanksgiving tradition this year, pardoning Gobble and Waddle. The crowd laughed as Trump said he saved last year's turkeys, Peach and Blossom. Now, our quote of the day: we ought to speak, shout out against injustices with confidence and without fear. Blessed Miguel Pro. And coming up, our saint of the day. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com.
Our saint of the day is Saint Sylvester I, and this pope was associated with the Edict of Milan, the emergence of the church from the catacombs, the building of the great basilicas, St. John Lateran, St. Peter's and others, the Council of Nicaea, and other critical events. But for the most part, these events were planned or brought about by Emperor Constantine. A great store of legends has grown up around the man who was pope at this time, but very little can be established historically. We know for sure his papacy lasted from 314 until his death in 335. Reading between the lines of history, we are assured that only a very strong and wise man could have preserved the essential independence of the church in the face of the overpowering figure of the Emperor Constantine. In general, the bishops remained loyal to the Holy See and at times expressed apologies to Sylvester for undertaking important ecclesiastical projects at the urging of Constantine. A massive operation targeting underage drinking in Tempe, Arizona, has led to 249 arrests just at a single bar last week. The raid, which took place last Thursday at Tempe Tavern, was the second major police sweep at the bar in just a year. The incident involved underage drinkers who used fake IDs and gave false information, according to Fox 10 of Phoenix. Reports of the repeated violations have raised questions about the bar's responsibility in serving alcohol to its customers. While sanctions are pending due to the ongoing investigations, the incident could result in license suspension. The Arizona Department of Liquor and Tempe PD partnered in a joint operation, resulting in a major liquor law compliance check that led to those arrests, the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Controls said Friday. This crackdown specifically targeted underage drinking and sent a strong message, the department added. You're listening to Crusade Channel News. I'm Janet Huxley for the Crusade Channel, seeking news and finding truth.
This is a pixel.
I'm Groot.
Now, if you put a couple of million of these guys together, you can make a sentence on an LED screen. Put a couple of billion of them together, and you can make a whole page. Put 360 billion of them, and you got Chesterton's book, Orthodoxy. But it doesn't smell like a book, and it burns teeny little holes in your cornea. So is the pixel really your friend?
I'm Groot.
No, but the Founders Trading Post is your friend, and we have actual books with actual smelly pages. Plus, our little bookstore has everything you'd expect.
I'm Groot.
Yes, Groot, to the gourmet coffee, but no to the One Tree Hill sappy guitar music.
Pick up a copy of G.K. Chesterton's Orthodoxy, plus many other Chesterton titles at shop.mychurch.com. It's the WWE and the UFC for live talk radio Thursday Night Throwdown, hosted by you. Win a seat at the table, win the throwdown, and then you pick next week's topic.
Now that's real live talk radio exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Radio, the way it should be.
If women living near rivers and taking the pill turns the frickin' frogs gay, imagine what happens to men on the same river who don't listen to Mike Church.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing. So I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
So let's go back.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they used to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
I'll always be there. And when you're in doubt, and when you're in danger, take a look all around, and I'll be there. I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking of the right words to say. I promise. I know they don't sound the way I planned them to be. But if you wait around a while, I'll make it fall for me.
I promise you. You do that. 61 chatter strong, thanks to Elizabeth Wigington and Tracy Staller for donations today. See, I didn't even have to threaten to play Britney Spears or anything. I think just for scoring the James Fishback interview and from executing it nearly perfectly, that there should have been $105 contributions just pouring into the chat room. But then again, that's just me. Mike Church Show here on the Crusade Channel. A blessed and happy. Today is the feast of Saint Sylvester and of Saint Leonard of Port Morris, who is also known as the Saint, the Stations of the Cross. You will hear that in today's Saint of the Day podcast from Sister Maria Junipera today at crusadechannel.com, along with the other great Saint of the Day recordings here. Speaking of things to be thankful for, be thankful for the sisters. We went out, we recruited them. We've had the idea for 3 years and finally got around to asking the prioress, Sister Mary Peter, what she thought about it. And she thought it was a good idea, and here we are. So we did all of September, all of October, and now we're just about done with November. I don't know who they voluntold that has to do December, but it's a different sister every month. But in any event, that's something that they'd be thankful for. You had the beautiful voices of the beautiful sisters of the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart reading the beautiful hagiographies of today's saint. And St. Leonard of Port Morris and St. Sylvester being the two that are on today. So, $5 tip in the chat room. I can tell you that the Saint of the Day fairy did not come in here this morning at 3:30 outside of my pay schedule and produce beautifully that reading, edit it for consistency and continuity, turn it into a beautiful podcast, add a graphic to it, upload it to the website, and make a podcast post. No, I did that. Yeah, but you have to, because that's part of... Is it? Is it? Show me where I signed a contract where I said, I promise to you, Saint of the Day from the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart. It's worth an extra $5 to you. Or maybe it isn't. crusadechannel.com/donate. I think it is. It's interesting that Mike Parrott has an article at Crisis Magazine today. Crisismagazine.com. Here is Mr. Parrott When MTG opposed Trump's mortgage plan, 14 days later, she's resigning from Congress. GOP opposition to Trump is rare these days, but Marjorie Taylor Greene's recent resignation may be a reflection of where the lines are drawn. Parrott basically makes the case that you could do a lot of things. You can even be opposed to Zionism, but you can't be opposed to Zionism and usury at the same time. You got to pick one. He says she tweeted out, "I don't like 50-year mortgages." You don't like what?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Do you understand that? I don't like 50-year mortgages. It will ultimately reward the banks, mortgage lenders, and home builders while people pay far more in interest over time and die before they ever pay off their home. In debt forever, in debt for life. Fat, drunk, stupid, and in debt is no way to go through life, son, Dean Wormer would tell you. You know, our foreparents of Christendom did not endure their lives in debt. They just didn't. First of all, usury was illegal. Second of all, you couldn't run up that kind of a debt. It was impossible. There was simply no mechanism to underwrite it. And so it never happened. And you know what people never had to do? Well, they never had to, like, sell off chunks of their property or whatever to pay off the debt. With the interest, the usury, the interest on what it is that they had borrowed. Parrott says there it was, a breach not of rhetoric but of architecture. She was no longer playing within the guardrails of acceptable populism. She was questioning the machinery itself, the system that converts every American into a revenue stream. True story. Every home into a debt instrument, every young family into a bondholder's annuity. And she said it out loud. Then just 14 days later, she announced she was leaving Congress. There was no mic drop. Washington tolerates theatrics. It tolerates cranks, showboats, grifters, controversialists, attention seekers, and insider traders. It even tolerates the occasional apostate. What it does not tolerate is a Republican who simultaneously challenges the two greatest commandments, the financial Leviathan and the Zionist Leviathan. As I said, you can go anti-usury, but that's it. You can't go anti-Zionist and anti-usury at the same time. Now that's 2 strikes against Red Sea pedestrians, and they're not going to tolerate it, is what he's saying. Parrott says that her resignation is not an isolated event. It is a case study. It shows that the boundary of permissible deviation for a Republican is not drawn around behavior, decency, or even sanity. It's drawn around the twin interest. Cross one, you get a warning. Cross both, you get removed. Marjorie Taylor Greene did not fall because she was outrageous. She fell because she was finally, perhaps even accidentally, right. And that is the one thing that Washington never forgives. True story. You're not allowed to be all conservative and stuff and act like it. I have a slight disagreement. I still think that there's something else that happened and something else was said to make it so that she's not even going to attempt to stay until until someone can replace her in a primary in May, which, as we discussed 2 days ago on this show, I have a problem with. I don't think you should leave your constituents high and dry. You ran for an office. You said you would occupy for 2 years, not 1 month, not 1 year, and 1 day. You said you'd occupy it for 2 years, and then you maybe run for re-election again. So do not carry forth or carry out what it is that you agreed to. Again, I just don't think that's a way to do business. And I don't think you should be running around congratulating people and patting them on the back. You showed them. You showed him. Well, I'm not going to play the battered wife syndrome or whatever it was that she said. And look, I don't want her to play the battered wife syndrome, but you told the people of that district that you were going to represent them, and now you're not going to. And I don't think that that's a good example. I also don't think that they have a list where they just like, oh, you did this? Oh, no, you can't. We're going to kick you out. Massey would have crossed the line a long time ago. Ron Paul constantly crossed that line. He was opposed always to foreign policy and foreign wars and entanglements. He was also opposed to debt. He never used the word usury, but in his description of the debt, that's what he called it. It's what he said it was. And he was opposed to many other things. And ultimately, they were able to keep him out of the presidency, but they didn't kick him out of the party. And there were many that wanted him. People like Mark Levin wanted Ron Paul kicked out of the party. I know because I was there. And I was confidant of Congressman Paul, so I can tell you that they wanted him out. They wanted us out. They wanted me out. They wanted David Simpson out. They wanted last hour, they wanted Deborah Medina out. They got her out. She's now a quite happy and well-to-do rancher now. As a matter of fact, she knows Brian Koch. She knows the Koch family well. And so they didn't stop her from being a Texan. They just stopped her from being a Texan Republican politician, which then leaves it to you. Think about this. Is there anything about Ted Cruz that screams Texan? Go. I'll wait. Name it. Okay, nobody has an answer. There's nothing about Ted Cruz that screams Texas. Is there anything about, here, I'll give you another one. Is there anything about John Cornyn that screams Texas? Go, I'll wait. Yeah, I didn't think so. You know who was? She was kind of a Texan. Most Republicans didn't like her, and her one claim to fame is she told George W. Bush to pull the whatever nomination it was for the Supreme Court and nominate Harriet Miers. and that was I had her name. The Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson. It's kind of interesting, is it not? Like, what about Bill Cassidy screams Louisiana as our senator? Nothing.
0.0.
Now, what about John Kennedy that screams? Well, John Kennedy actually does scream Louisiana with his little malapropism, his puns, and his jokes. I think you have him on the cut sheet today, don't you? Or was it yesterday we had John Kennedy? Well, I think that this is a 12-piece bucket of stupid. When did he? That was last week, right? I can't find where in the hell's my StreamYard window?
12-piece bucket of stupid was last week.
Was last week?
Yeah, I have him because he was talking about legislative malpractice on the House floor.
You got him?
On the Senate floor, yeah.
Well, let's do it. This is what I think amounts to, let me say it, it amounts to legislative malpractice is what I think, Mike. If we could be honest for just a moment here. You're a couple of pieces short of a 12-piece box of stupid.
The first reason I came to the floor tonight is to say to my colleagues, pretty please, with sugar on top. I'll even add a cherry. I'll even throw in a coupon for a personal pan pizza. Please, let's do another reconciliation bill. And when I say we, I say the Republican majority. Let's invite our Democratic colleagues to join with us. And I hope after inviting them, I sincerely hope they'll take us up on it. But if they don't, and they don't have to, it's a free country, it only takes a majority to pass the reconciliation bill.
No.
And after we do the second one, we can do a third one before the midterms. If we do not take advantage of this opportunity to lower the cost of living for the American people through reconciliation, when we only need 51 votes to do it, it's legislative malpractice. It's legislative malpractice. It is dumb as a bowl of noodles.
It is dumb as a bowl of noodles. This isn't new. I believe if you go back to the turn of the century and you read one Samuel Langhorne Clemens, a.k.a. Mark Twain, I believe you will also find very funny, very humorous, but very frustrated complaints about Congress. You know what I find fascinating, and this is just a study in anthropology at this point, what I find fascinating from watching chat room chats and signal group chats is we seem to think that we're the first people that ever had a problem with the Congress that was terrible, or with members of Congress that were awful and couldn't get anything done and were stupid and did stupid things. What is the famous quote by Mark Twain where he said, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember what it was. Something about look, there goes a member, there goes a stupid person. Here it is. Suppose you were an idiot, and suppose you were a member of Congress, but I repeat myself. Very John Kennedy-esque. Now, suppose you were a idiot, and at the same time, you were a member of Congress. Well, wait a minute. I just repeated myself. You can hear John Kennedy saying that. Well, guess what? Mark Twain said it 130 years ago. But miniature played. Our members of the Congress are worse than their member of the Congress. How do you get worse than the worst? Is there a company? Is there? And look, you know, I don't even know what Twain was complaining about. But it must have been something. It must have been something pretty profound, because he remained upset about it. All right, it's the Thanksgiving Eve extravaganza. How about some Mr. Chairman, with the low down, dirty, rotten shame of a president? And I'm going to oppose him now, Mr. Chairman. Let's hear some Maxine Waters. We haven't heard her in a while. Number 9. This is vintage, Maxine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I am so pleased that Robert Garcia is here and the mayor is here.
And the mayor
is
here.
An important press conference that is being held to let you know what we're all doing, resisting this low-down, dirty, no-good, filthy president of the United States of America.
Mr. Chairman, this low-down, good, dirty, good president, filthy president of the United States of America. Mr. Chairman, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, can I enter into the record? Where's Rusty Lamont at when I need him? Where's Mr. Mayor Dusonia? Okay, you know what I'm thinking when I see Maxine Waters? There is a very old, there's a very old, Maggie can probably find the video on YouTube. There's a very old clip from the old TV show, Sanford and Son. And there is a scene where Fred Sanford, if you know the scene, you know why I am laughing. There is a scene where Fred Sanford gets in an argument with Aunt Esther. And Lamont tries to get in the middle of it, and Fred Sanford, she calls Fred Sanford a name. Well, let me tell you something, Fred Sanford. You are just stupid. And then Fred Sanford goes, Esther, let me tell you, I call you a name, but you just plain ugly. And then Esther goes, Frederick Sanford, how dare you call me ugly? If your sister, your wife, my sister was alive today. And then Fred Sanford said, Esther, look, Esther, Lamont, what you got to know about your Aunt Esther is she's so ugly that the cookie factory called. They wanted to use her for a mold. They're going to press her face into the dough to make gorilla cookies. Now, that is Red Fox. That was Fred playing the character of Fred Sanford. Oh, what classic TV that was. The fights that those two got into. Fred Sanford, and she do the, put him up, put her hands up. Fred Sanford. Funny stuff here on Thanksgiving. But when I think of Aunt Esther, I think of Maxine Waters. You have the audacity, and this continues here now. They tried to shoot the man. That's it right there, Maglify. Who you calling ugly, sucker? I call you ugly. I can push your face in some dough and make gorilla cookies. Oh, Maggie, you did not. You found it'd be even funnier if you found the video. Did anyone ever call, the only insult that Barack Hussein Obama ever endured was from Trey Gowdy at the State of the Union speech when Obama said something, and Trey Gowdy goes, "You lie! You lie!"
New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be.
Hello, Crusaders. I'm Janet Huxley at the Crusade Channel News Desk with your Crusade Crucials for Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. This report is brought to you by the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, the best way to listen to the KingDude ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It's literally that easy. In the market report, the Dow was up 1.43% at last close. The S&P as well, 0.91. NASDAQ climbed 0.67%. Today is National Cake Day. You wouldn't think at Thanksgiving time that would be the case. Like, shouldn't it be Pumpkin Pie Day? But no, it's Cake Day today, so enjoy yourself. It's also National Taiwan On Day. Don't get confused. It means those that are working at home, hard preparing for tomorrow's big Thanksgiving Day meal, are probably wearing an apron. It's also National Jukebox Day. The name jukebox is thought to originate from places called juke houses or juke joints. In the early 1900s, people congregated in these establishments to drink and to listen to music. Our quote of the day: we ought to speak, shout out against injustices with confidence and without fear. Blessed Miguel Pro. Now, our saint of the day is Saint Sylvester I. You're listening to Crusade Channel News.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, a.k.a. Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes like Jim.
I heard that!
Listening to or watching the KingDude live, or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away. And installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap login now or proceed as guest. See? It's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are, install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app. Now in our 9th year, Crusade Channel News is simply the best daily newscast on all of radio.
News that informs and inspires and doesn't destroy any critical thinking brain cells.
Catch it at 6, 8, and 3 p.m. on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and news radio.
The way it should be.
Okay, please enter the 9-digit 2-step authorization code we just emailed you. Jeez. What do you mean, prove I'm human? Okay, that's a car. That's a car. That's a car. Those are not cars. Please try again. Oh my gosh. I'll show you. Try again, stupid piece of AI mother. Here, try this.
Jim, what are you doing? Good grief, man. This isn't Office Space the movie. What are you trying to do?
I just wanted to send the KingDude a donation through the stupid computer.
Like Trump, the KingDude makes everything better, including donating, which you can now do by mail.
Mail? They still have that?
Of course they do, and the KingDude's keeping the ponies running on time and in business. Just snail mail your donation to P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70447.
Ha! And you can't. You're such a boomer. Me this time. And wait a minute. I know they're around here somewhere. There! Ha-ha!
Dude, those are airmail stamps from the movie Airplane. Surely you have...
Of course I do. And don't call me Shirley. The Crusade Radio Guild is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, so your donations are tax deductible. Donate today, the Crusade Radio Guild, P.O. Box 400, Madisonville, Louisiana, 70447.
Hey, Mrs. McGillicuddy, don't be a satellite radio snob and pass by the Mike Church Show. Come on in and browse.
May I help you?
Oh, no thanks, sir. Just browsing.
How long do you intend to browse?
Well, that lady there. You didn't ask her how long she intends to browse. How come you're asking us how long we intend to browse?
You don't look like browsers.
Now that that's over,
How about a Fresca?
the Mike Church Show, entertaining browsers and fans since 1992 on the Veritas Radio Networks. Crusade.
Staying alive in too much heaven Here on the Crusade Channel, this is day number 11 of year number 10, 34th year of the Mike Church Show, 34th annual Thanksgiving Eve Extravaganza here. Good to have you with us out there. Hope you are experiencing a fantastic lead up to the big Stuffmas Turkey Day tomorrow. I saw the stat today. According to AAA, 87 million. How many is that? 87 million people are supposedly traveling over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go to get to the Turkey Day, Thanksgiving Day celebrations, and a holiday that is uniquely American. One thing that we can say on this upcoming November of the 27th, the year of our Lord and Savior, Anno Domini 2025, is a tradition that's been carried on since George Washington wrote a proclamation proclaiming it as a day of Thanksgiving. It wasn't made into a formal holiday until much later, and then it just became sort of a American kind of thing. Where y'all going for Thanksgiving? It says a lot about a people, I think. All of you cynics. And you're not... In this audience, we don't have boomers, we don't have zoomers, we have doomers. And all you doomers that still here in 2025, that there's still things that you can be and should be thankful for. Let me just say that you should all be thankful for Mrs. O'Connell, who continues to produce this show in a world quality fashion. You know, Megyn Kelly tipped her hand. It takes 6 of her to produce that 1 hour, little 1 hour long, or however long the Megyn Kelly show is every day. And that's with writing teleprompter scripts and scripting out monologues and what have you. Mrs. O'Connell does the job of 5 of Megyn Kelly's producers. You should be thankful that we, and I am, that we have such a tremendous talent in-house. That's a skill. Tremendous skill. So be thankful for it. And here's how you can show your thankfulness. CrusadeChannel.com/donate. You know, she was voluntold for this job. You can complain about it, and we do a lot, and you can complain about President Trump, and all of you do a lot. But you can also give thanks that President Trump brought an end to the so-called Mexico City policy. President Trump put USAID out of business. President Trump is obeying and causing to be obeyed the Hyde Amendment. President Trump withdrew all federal funding and is still working on finding wherever it is that they're still suckling federal teat dollars from for the mutilation, sexual, genital, psychological mutilation of children. You could be stuck with a second term of Joseph Robinette Biden, the regime leader, or even worse, the first term of regime leader, Comrade Kamala Cackala Heels Up Harris. So, all in all, tariffs enacted, bureaucrats disemployed. There has been an attempt to drain the swamp. With all the things that have actually been attempted, there was a Doge. There was NPR, National Communist Radio, and National Communist Television are no longer funded. So you could say would any of those things happen under second regime leader Biden's term? No. Would any of those things happen under first regime leader Kakala's term? No. It's kind of like, your children, my children, you expect certain things of them. And then they go out into the real world, and unfortunately, because they're people and they're not perfect, they don't live up to your expectations, and and they fail at things. When your children, maybe sometimes, maybe they're just lazy sometimes, and you go like, "What are you doing, dude?" "Well, I'm not doing anything, Dad." When your son or your daughter does that, do you slam the door on them, say you're not invited to Thanksgiving anymore because you didn't work 16 hours of overtime last week like we suggested that you did? When your child screws up, I'm not talking about felonies, do you disown them? Do you disinvite them out of the family? Do you kick them out? Or is it kind of like your duty to love them because they're still your children? Maybe they need more of your guidance. In some instances, maybe you just need to shut the up and stop harassing them. Maybe you go like, all right, dude, I get it. You're you. That's what you're going to do. Okay, fine. I'm good with it. I've adjusted my expectations for you. The point being that you should always give thanks for family. What's the things to be thankful for? You live in the United States. It's not as though someone's going to, that you live under the threat that some Stasi officer is going to knock on your door when you and Grandma and Uncle Bobo and Aunt Petunia are sitting down for your dinner, as then they're going to knock on the door and lead two of you away in handcuffs and throw you into Alex Jones's railroad car and then ship you off to American Siberia. I'm pretty sure that that's not going to happen. You could give thanks for that. Yeah, that's just not going to happen because, well, does it really matter? Well, you say, well, yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, I'm good with it. You're not a Catholic and you're not practicing Catholicism in Nigeria. If you do go to Mass tomorrow morning to give thanks to God, there's very little chance you're going to be machine gunned out of existence or that your church is going to suffer being the recipient of a bomb tomorrow. Could kind of give thanks for that. So there's all manner of things that you could give thanks for. And I think it tends towards most people to not look at the good, the true, and the beautiful and things to be thankful for, and instead to focus in on, and I guess this is what people organize around, all the things that are bad, haven't gotten done, aren't going to get done, et cetera, and let's ruin everybody's time and make everyone miserable because we didn't get a balanced budget this year. Wasn't on my bingo card. I don't know about you, but it wasn't on my card. You know what else wasn't on my card? Marjorie Taylor Greene not finishing her term out in Congress wasn't on my bingo card this January. Who had that on their bingo card? I didn't have it. The point being, there's an awful lot to be thankful for, and I don't see it very often. All I see, most of what I see, I should say all, is complaining. Now, let me add one more sobering thought to you. While you're complaining that Trump hasn't done this and it was better under Gingrich or whatever, and we're all screwed and hosed, and my life is miserable because MAGA didn't do what it promised to do, you could have sent me this message yesterday. I will not give you his last name just to protect him. Mike, William here, Crusader since 2015. My wife, Delphina, passed away Sunday at 12:25 p.m. from her stage 4 cancer. She fought for 2 years. A Catholic priest gave her last rites, and she went peacefully. Had I not ever heard your voice and spent the last 10 years learning from you, I probably would not know what that means. By the way, I'm just going to stop right there. William is a convert. During the 10 years of the Crusade Channel, William was received into the Holy Catholic Church. That's what he means by that. Had I not heard your voice and spent the last 10 years learning from you, I probably would not know what that means. Delfina was from Mexico, grew up dirt poor, and we have 2 beautiful children together. Please let the chat room and fellow Crusaders know. Okay, William, I just did. I love you and Candace, Brother Andre Marie, and thank you so much for all that you do. And then he says, by the way, she passed away on Sunday, Christ the King, and we're thankful for that. I told him, I said, William, we're so sorry to hear the news, but ecstatic to hear she received the last rites and the Blessed Sacrament before she left. God is good. I will inform everyone in the chat room and the listeners of what you just asked me to tell them. And then in regards to you being thankful to me, please do not thank me. The Blessed Mother did all the work. Make sure you thank her every day. That's all on her. We love you too, brother. Deo gratis. And then William says, thank you so much. By the way, Mike, she was baptized in Mexico and was a Catholic for life. So for Delfina, William, eternal rest grant unto her, O God. Let perpetual light shine upon her, and may she rest in peace. Amen. Eternal rest grant unto her, O God. Let perpetual light shine upon her, and may she rest in peace. Amen. And eternal rest grant unto her, O God. Let perpetual light shine upon her, and may she rest in peace. Amen. We're thankful that we get notes from people like William all the time, regularly. Let me just say something else to you, because William's probably listening. William, brother, the greatest thing that you can do to honor Delfina is to say that prayer and take up a devotion. Now you have a vested interest in it. Take up a devotion to the suffering holy souls in purgatory. If Brother Andre Marie was here, I'd ask him to talk about one of the great members of the community in Richmond, New Hampshire, who had a lifelong, or a late in life anyway, long devotion to the suffering holy souls in purgatory. And I would just say to you that, William, now that you know that Delfina went with the last rite, since we don't know what's in God's mercy, it's always good. And now you can add Delfina's name to whoever else you know that has died. And then you can say that Trinitarian prayer, as St. Alphonsus Liguori suggests, 3 times a day, every day. And whenever you go to Mass, William, you can always say, you know, whatever grace I may receive from assisting at this Mass, I offer it to the Blessed Virgin Mary to do what she will with it. But please know that I have a special devotion to the suffering holy souls in purgatory, especially those that don't have anyone to pray for them, because Catholics aren't told to pray for the suffering holy souls anymore. And they're stuck. So now that you have a vested interest with your beloved Delfina, William, take that devotion up, my suggestion. And remember her and all the suffering holy souls in purgatory. The only way they get out is through our prayers. They can't do anything to get themselves out, which is why, and they can't pray for you. So you don't get anything in return but it's an act of charity to pray for the suffering holy souls in purgatory. So it's a very simple prayer. I just gave it to you. Eternal rest grant unto them, O God. Let perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Amen. It's a Trinitarian three-part prayer there. You can also learn it in Latin. And keep that in mind. Your family of Crusaders is with you, William. They're all saying that they're praying for you and for Delfina's soul. So it's a good way to go for her to go out, brother. And that's something that we can all be thankful for, that we can all pray together. Remnant Crusader fell. You got another convert right here because of the Crusade Channel. This hits close to home. Well, I'm glad to hear that. you are a family. Treat each other like one every now and then. Treat Maggie and I like family every now and then. We make issues in politics far too important in our lives. Well, family members call each other names, throw each other out, have feuds and spats, don't talk to each other for years at a time. If you're in the chat room at crusadechannel.com/chat right now, you might know that Cajun Mama is in there. That's my my big bully of a sister, Melissa. I'm thankful that my sister and my brother-in-law Phil. If you want to pray to a saint for a miracle, pray to Father Willie Doyle maybe for the miraculous healing of Phil Traylor, my brother-in-law, who's got myriad of medical conditions, but he's still alive. And we had lunch yesterday, his big sister and Phil and I, and he's in great spirits. He's still my big buddy, my brother-in-law Phil. He's just same as he always was. So, lots to give thanks for this Thanksgiving, I think. What else do we have on? And we are thankful, obviously. You know, Maggie, I don't think that the police chief of New Orleans realizes that she is locked in mortal combat with Governor Landry, who doesn't care what she thinks about illegals coming into the city of New Orleans. And I don't think she's going, and he obviously, I believe, has the upper hand as well. I don't, and Governor Landry has been very clear. As a matter of fact, it already began. Attorney General Liz Morrell, the greatest Attorney General in the United States, A.G. Morrell doesn't take any of this crap that Pam Bondi takes. She just doesn't do it. You know why? Because she's passionate about Louisiana. And she's going to defend our people and our law, just like our governor does. But while you're giving thanks, give thanks that Trump is there, that Pelosi doesn't have the gavel, Schumer's not in power, and Kamala heels up Cackala Harris is playing heels up you know what, but she's not playing it as regime leader. Because the Democrats are telling us what it is that they wish to do to us. That's written in the first hour. Play 14. They are basically saying that Swalwell, I'm sorry, I forgot my new Delta Tail. Hey, Eric, your new Delta Tail guy name is Swallowswell. Eric Swallowswell. Ooh. Ooh. You know, if I had 1 million followers on X and I called him Eric Swallowswell, I could get a lot of attention. Okay. Play Swallowswell.
It's a lawless United States. The Department of Homeland Security should just change its name because that's not what they are doing right now as they chase our immigrant community. But we have to, as Democrats, make it clear to Republicans as we seek and intend to go into the majority that they are going to have to answer for this, and it's all coming out. Because I promise you, right now, they think they're invincible. They let these ICE agents be invisible, and they don't think we have the balls to hold them accountable. Because they look at the way we've acted in the past, where we didn't flex when we had power. And it's not about retribution. Are you kidding me? It's about accountability. And if we telegraph to them, no, you're coming to tell us everything, under oath, under subpoena, you may not stop, and you can't reverse what's happened in the past, but you might stop the next actor who wants to do some corrupt drug deal with the administration. So it's a twofer in that you're going to hold them accountable and maybe deter future corruption.
You are the captain of corruption. Who the blank does this guy think that he is? This is a dude that has been busted sleeping with Chinese double agents. The dude had relations and a relationship with an identified member of the Chinese Communist Party. You want to lecture us about corruption? Oh, please. There are some good signs of good things that are happening out there. I don't know exactly what to make about this, but I'll play it anyway. Digital media file number 7. This is Megyn Kelly with Jack Posobiec. I don't know. I guess she must be on tour. I mean, this must be because she keeps showing up in public places and bringing people onto the stage to talk. In any event, you tell me.
Talk about those rosary beads. Like, how do we protect ourselves?
Well,
how do we fight
you mentioned the rosary beads, so I had to get them
love
here
that.
tonight and bring them. And Megan, because you said something so nice on your show the other day about them, I figured why not bring an extra set that I could give.
There you go.
Oh my God, thank you. Oh,
That's
they're
for
so
you.
beautiful. Thank you. Oh, they're so
And if
beautiful.
you
They
look
just
right
feel
there,
empowering.
This has right in the center there. That has Saint Michael the Archangel right there.
Defend us in battle.
And for folks who know the Saint Michael prayer, it's Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, through the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who wander about the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen.
I am only going to say I am a Jack Posobiec, Megyn Kelly fan today. Anytime you can get people together praying, that's a little slice of new Christendom right there. That's what it could sound like. In all seriousness and in all earnestness, as I go on X.com and wherever to be largely ignored, shadow banned, and shunned. And by the way, this fake community, which is not a community at all, so we're going to make one. This community, quote, Catholic broadcasters that doesn't exist, is a sham. Don't even ever call it that, and an embarrassment, and it's a disgrace to people that call it, it's Catholic, you're in a Catholic. No, there's no such thing. There is no such thing. If there were, then they would all, and we would all, be members of the Crusade Radio Guild, and we would all practice the Catholic principle of solidarity. You know how many people practice that principle? 3.
0.0.
Broadcasting and trying to make a living in broadcasting is not a zero-sum game. All of you play it like it is. It's not. I did not wake up this morning to determine that you're not getting any of my listeners or getting access to them. I'm going to protect them, and I'm not going to let you talk to them. I did not wake up this morning and choose to make you our enemy, but seemingly, either by ignorance or by just outright dismissal, almost everyone that fancies themselves in this sphere does exactly that. I can bear witness and get a witness on this. I can get Magdalene Rose can tell you that I've never asked anyone, when anyone's ever asked me for an interview, including a Canadian guy, I'm in more solidarity with a Canadian Catholic broadcaster than anyone in the United States. I'm in more solidarity with Frank Wright, a British Catholic broadcaster, than anyone in the United States. That when anyone has ever asked us for a little airtime or to come on the show or whatever, I have never told them no. I never said, how many followers do you have? I never said, what's in it for us? I might have said, well, can you share, the link to the interview with your people or whatever? We don't do that around here. You know why? Because it's wrong. It's wrong. It is ethically repugnant. It's wrong. But then again, you're talking about something that would happen in a world that was actually among people that were pursuing ethics. So that can be something that we can work towards to be thankful for next year. Solidarity amongst Catholics in media. It's not hard. It is not difficult. Seemingly it is. Know that if you give $5, and since we started talking today, no one has given a penny, but that's okay. We're still thankful for all of you. The fact that you're there. Know that when you give $5 to the Crusade Radio Guild, that one of our, it's in our mission statement, we have a rule. I'm still working on the rule, but the rule is you will practice solidarity with your brothers and sisters in the field, no matter who they are. Unless they're not in a state of grace any longer, or they are acting outside of the faith. The Muslims do it. The Mormons do it. The evangelicals do it. The Jews do it. You know who doesn't do it? The Catholics. Of all the opportunities, that's the one glaring one. No one could be elected president. No one could probably be elected governor of a state if there was solidarity amongst Catholic broadcasting. Like at one point in time, because of the position that the bishops held, there weren't very many people that would wander into broadcasting as Catholics. They would leave it up to actual clergy. They'd leave it up to Archbishop Sheen. They'd leave it up to Father Peyton. Men that actually took vows. They lived up to Mother Angelica. Well, why are all these lay people here? Well, I'll answer the question in saying that I am not a Catholic broadcaster. I am a broadcaster who happens to be Catholic. And when certain things come up, and you're like, wait, hey, pick me, pick me. I know a little bit about that. I can talk about that. So, folks, as we wrap up the Thanksgiving extravaganza, we're thankful for all of you. Did Maria Elvira Salazar actually get into a little row with Maxine Waters? Maggie? Is this Maxine Waters sound? I moved it, Mr. Chairman. I moved the thing down on wood.
So she did that on the House floor, and yes, Maxine Waters got up and said, I want to remove all of her words.
Oh, wait.
They struck them.
Okay, before we leave for Thanksgiving break, you have to play that, then we'll call it quits. I know you got bacon to do. This is it. This is it. Final answer. Final answer.
If there is someone who has seen the horrors of socialism up close within the Democratic Party, is in the House, and it's the Honorable Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And I would love for you to support this resolution specifically, because Madam Waters, for decades, you traveled to Cuba dozens of times to visit Fidel Castro personally, whom you consider your friend. Congresswoman Waters was in Havana, and she saw the destruction of biblical proportions that Castro caused on that island, who at the time in 1960 had the highest per capita income in the Western Hemisphere. At that time, Madam Waters knew that thousands and thousands of Cubans were escaping on a raft, exposing their lives and their children to be eaten by the sharks. She knew that Afro-Cubans were being beaten on the streets of Havana, discriminated against by Fidel Castro, Mr. Speaker. And for that reason, I am bringing up all these facts, because Madam Waters knew that the Cuban jails were full of political prisoners, and the Cubans did not have the same privileges that we are having right now to speak freely. At that time, Madam Waters never raised her voice to denounce the horrors of socialism, Mr. Speaker. For that reason, I am asking Madam Waters.
For what purpose the lady from California seeks recognition?
I move to take her words down.
Mr. Chairman, I move to take her words down. Mr. Chairman,
House will be in order. The lady from California.
Mr. Chairman, I move to take her word down.
Rise to take down her words.
Advise, Mr. Chairman, to take down her word. Mr. Chairman. All right. Was it live or was it Memorex? Which lines did Maxine Waters say, and which lines did I say as Maxine Waters? I scare myself sometimes with my impersonation of Maxine Waters. It's so spot on and accurate. Wait, I'm getting a little too close to the evil here. I got to back up. Folks, we're going to have fantastic programming tomorrow if you want to listen while your Turkey Day is going on. Please check your email. Friday. Fantastic Black Friday opportunities coming your way from the Founders Trading Post store. Remember, if you go to crusadechannel.com/card, you can now give gift cards, actual cards. Now, you don't get the plastic variety. You get a virtual gift card, but it works the exact same way, and it is so simple. Even a boomer like Jim Mosier can do it. To give now a 3-month Founders Pass membership away this Black Friday for $20. That's a $15. That's a $25 saving because it'd be $45 for 3 months. I'll give it to you for $20. Or a 1-year Founders Pass membership to whoever you wish to give it to for $50 gift card. That is a savings of $130. The gift card is so easy. You can even have it sent on Christmas Day if you want. There's also a box to check while you're checking out that says, I wish for you to annoy the recipient until they redeem the card once a week, every other week, once a month, etc. We can do all of that for you, but a Founders Pass gift membership for 3 months, give it to anyone in form of a gift card, which will be emailed to them. It'll look just like a gift card because it is. It's easily redeemable. There are certain people in the chat room who are technophiles who could not screw this up. So we tested it. It works. It works great. That is coming your way. It's actually available now. crusadechannel.com/card. And on the Founders Trading Post store, there are too many great Black Friday deals to tell you about. There's 75% discount on paperback books in the Founders Trading Post store on Black Friday, email only. So check your email on Friday for an email from yours truly about all of that. But give those gift cards, and let's get our Founders Pass membership going in the right direction and add dozens and dozens and hundreds of new listeners and subscribers this year, because we'll give them the gift of the Crusade channel, and you can do it for $20 or $50. Easy to do. crusadechannel.com/card. /card. If news does break out today, we will break in. Have a safe, blessed, and wonderful remainder of today on the eve of Thanksgiving and tomorrow's Thanksgiving Day. And thanks for being with us here live on the Crusade channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be. We'll see you. And by the way, big on-air surprises coming your way on next Monday when we return to live programs. So you're not going to want to miss that. Here on the Crusade channel, live talk campaign radio the way and podcast radio the way it should be. God bless you all. Happy Thanksgiving. A Merry Thanksgiving to all of you. God bless you and Merry keep you. Thank you. We give thanks to and for you.